5 pairs of shoes. Somewhere in a small town in Kentucky, life moved slow, but bills didn't. Quincy and his longtime girlfriend, Tamika, were doing their best to raise their newborn daughter, Asari. Opportunities were scarce. Unless you planned on managing a fast food restaurant or working at the local Smithfield plant, making real money felt nearly impossible. That pressure had shaped Quincy. He worked hard as a mechanic under his uncle Momo, earning decent pay, but not enough to match his lifestyle. Quincy liked the finer things: fresh clothes, expensive shoes, the right cologne. His presence mattered to him. The way he carried himself, the way people saw him, that was part of his identity. And truth be told, it worked. His charm, his confidence, and that easy smile made him a natural with women. But Tamika? She wasn't drawn to any of that. She loved Quincy for who he was. They had been inseparable since childhood, since the days of dandelions and wishes on a swing set. Back when love was simple, Tamika was the complete opposite of Quincy. Quiet, petite, reserved. She carried herself with a gentle strength. Even without a ring, she held down her role like a wife. Cooking, caring for Asari, and attending school with dreams of becoming a nurse and escaping the limits of their small town. But lately, things had been tense. Q, do you really need another pair of $300 shoes? Tamika asked one evening, her voice soft but tired. Quincy smiled like it wasn't a big deal. Appearance is everything. My dad always said you can tell a lot from a person's shoes. She didn't argue, but her face said enough. And Quincy saw it. That disappointment sat heavy on him. I'll do better, he told her, gently holding her hand. And for once, he meant it. Quincy started changing. He focused on work, left the streets alone, cut back on spending. Well, mostly. He still believed in looking good, just not at the cost of everything else. One afternoon, while changing oil at the shop, Quincy noticed his uncle sitting nearby. I'm proud of you, Momo said, looking up at the sky. Your dad would be too. Quincy frowned. Where that come from? Momo smiled. You finally put your boots on. Quincy glanced down at his Jordans, confused. What you talking about, Unc? Momo leaned forward. A man should have 5 pairs of shoes, he said. Work shoes for grinding, church shoes for God, tennis shoes for joy, house shoes for rest, and boots for protection. He paused. I had a closet full of work shoes and lost everything else. Quincy nodded slowly. That's deep. They closed the shop soon after. But just as they stepped outside, everything changed. Momo froze. His arm dropped. His face slackened. Unc? Panic hit instantly. Quincy rushed to him, dialing 911 with shaking hands. Time slowed to a crawl as he waited for help. When the sirens finally came, relief washed over him. His uncle would live. But the night was far from over. On his way home from the hospital, exhaustion crept in. Then, blue lights. Man, I know you lying, Quincy muttered. Officer Randy stepped out of his patrol car. And from the moment he spoke, the tension was clear. Where you headed, boy? Quincy's jaw tightened. You know me, Randy. Cut it out. But Randy wasn't there for conversation. Within minutes, the situation escalated. Words turned ugly. Accusations turned personal. Then, a setup. A bag of white powder tossed into Quincy's back seat. Tell it to the judge, Randy smirked. Before Quincy could react, he was in cuffs. Just like that, his world flipped. Tamika felt it before she even knew it. The silence, the missed calls, the fear creeping in. When the jail call came, her heart already knew the truth. You lied to me, she cried. It ain't what you think, Quincy pleaded. He set me up. But doubt spoke louder than love in that moment. And she hung up. That night, she cried until there was nothing left. The next morning, reality didn't wait. Tamika still had responsibilities. She dropped Asari off with her mother, Mrs. Sharon, a woman wise enough to read pain without a word. Q is in jail, Tamika finally broke down. Mrs. Sharon didn't panic. Go get your man, she said firmly. That officer? He crooked. Those words lit something in Tamika. Hope. She went to see Quincy that same day. Despite everything, that same smile greeted her. And despite herself, she smiled back. I love you, she told him. And this time, she meant it louder than her fear. But life kept hitting. Money ran low. Gas ran out. And just when things couldn't feel worse, her past pulled up in a black infinity. Will. Smooth, flashy, opportunistic, offering help that came with strings. Tamika shut it down instantly. She didn't need saving. Not like that. Weeks passed. She stayed loyal, visited Quincy, kept him grounded, until one visit changed everything. There's money in the closet, Quincy told her. Under the carpet. It's clean. She didn't want to, but she needed it. That same conversation was overheard. That night, a gun, a threat, a robbery. Tamika held Asari tight as fear wrapped around her like a storm. And when the police showed up, it was Randy, again, cold, dismissive, uninterested. The next morning, Tamika walked into that jail stronger than before. Quincy smiled when he saw her, but she didn't return it the same way. Because now, this wasn't just about love. This wasn't just about survival. Everything had been stripped down to the truth. Trust, loyalty, and the fight ahead. And this time, they weren't just trying to make it. They were trying to take their life back.